3Chome for KGPop.com, and this is Game Center CX 3Chome no Arino for the 3DS. It's the third Game Center CX game, which, if you're not familiar with Game Center CX, the first couple, did both of them come out, or just the first one? Came out in the West on DS as Retro Game Challenge. And so this is the third one of those ones. Game Center CX, this is based off of the Game Center CX TV show, which it's a Japanese TV show that has made its way in subtitled form to some parts of the internet, and it's a TV show about retro games. Kind of this guy Arino goes around and plays old school NES, Famicom, Master System games, tries to beat them in one go, and has interviews with the creators and such. Sort of think of a broadly more positive version of the Angry Video Game Nerd, and you're getting close, except it's on TV, on Fuji TV over here in Japan. And it's gotten enough of a status that they've made 3 games based off of it, where Arino sort of plays fictional retro games in a fictional retro town. So the first couple of games were, they were just, hey, here's a bunch of retro games, have at it. And this is different in that there's a story. Here, we're talking to Inoue at the school here. Arino has been caught in a time slip, as the voice at the start of the game explains, and he's found himself warped back in time to his childhood in the mid-1980s. And I'm not playing as Arino. Arino is guy in the green shirt in the middle there. I'm the dude on the left. I am me. Arino is like, right now, he's talking about the next game he wants to play is in the game center in the arcades, and there's lots of scary people in the arcade, so he's a little bit afraid of going there. And basically the deal is, I'm on the 3rd chapter here, and what you have to do is, with Arino, you go through a series of games, and you have to go through these what the game called Noruma. I'm not exactly sure where Noruma kind of comes from linguistically, but it's about achievements. With each game, there are 3 achievements that you and Arino have to clear in order to take him back to the present day. And yeah, there you go. So all of them are fairly, they start off being fairly clear. Oh, hey, beat 1 enemy in this game. And then they get sort of slightly more complex and a little bit more enigmatic. So here we go. The first challenge here is Lantern or Toru. So presumably I've got to get hold of a lantern in the next game that I haven't played. And, there's certain things like that. And you can find out more about the challenges in order to progress. So here we go. Yeah, there's a lot of this sort of story stuff to get through, which on the one hand is cool, and I'll sort of explain why as we go, but on the other hand it's a little bit irritating. These games are locked off to you. There is a free play mode, but you have to unlock each game within the story itself. Which means that if a particular challenge, a particular achievement on a certain game is giving you trouble, then you're stuck with that game, which is a little bit irritating. So here we go, I'm done here. I want to go to the game center, but as you can see, there's a town and all sorts of things happening within each town. So let's see, should we start? I'm just going to pop over there. It's game center, that's not a certain type of bar. So we're going to go over there, and off we go. And so, where the story mode is kind of cool, as you see my reflection in the camera there, how very professional. Oh, yosh, let's start. And, what's cool about this is just the fact, all the other Game Center games were like this as well. They just like such a lot of love, not just for games of this era, but gaming culture of the era as well. Um, so you sort of get you get at the start that guy saying, oh, I've just gotten the manual for this game, which I can go over here, so I can check the challenges, the norma here, so the requirements for each of the things. So I can see I've unlocked 2 of these challenges. There's 2 more that I've got to get through in order to get onto the next chapter, but those will unlock later. So if I touch that, then it'll say a little bit more about how to do it. And again, sometimes that's explicit, sometimes it's a little bit more enigmatic. So it's saying there's a lantern on floor 1, and if I'm in hide mode, then I can get hold of it. But what's hide mode? I don't know, right? So I look at the instructions, and you see the instructions that you get for each game. You're either playing these games in an arcade or a shop, or you just get loose cartridges without instructions. So a lot of it's kind of about figuring out how to play the game, and then these rules will pop up afterwards, which is a really interesting. I mean, again, that's love for the culture of the 80s, where oftentimes you might rent a game and not have instructions, or you'll get a game used just loose without instructions. So it's like figuring out how to actually play these games. And you find out, as you go, you get sort of screenshots and okay, here's how you actually play the game. So I think that's cool, and the way you reveal more is by actually going out into the stage and talking to people. So like talking to people at the school, like other school kids who are playing the game, and then they go, oh, hey, here's how you do it. Like each game, I'm only on chapter 3, but the 2 games I've played so far, they have continue commands, which is cool. So they have a specific little cheat to do in order to continue after you die, and so that becomes really helpful. So each of these are made by a fictional company. This is made by Telet in 1985, and so yeah, let's press start button and go here. Wow, so instantly this looks kind of berserk-ish. Let's see, what do I want to do? Yeah, okay, so it's sort of haunted house berserky, and I've got to figure out, okay, I've got to remember where the treasure chests were. Yay, I got the lantern. Hurrah! So yeah, I've solved one challenge. There you go. I've got one sort of achievement done. So, let's sort of go a little bit further, because I'm pretty sure that I can do better. And you can see the other games that I've unlocked here. I've unlocked a couple more here in the TV game category, but I can't play them here at the game center. This is a little bit irritating. I've gotten the cartridges, so I can go to my house and play them in the game. But other than that, I have to play them at the shops. This coin game that I found, I have to go to the shop where I unlock the coin game, and I can only play it there. So it's kind of, you can see it's you're tied to this story mode, which is a little bit irritating. There's plenty of little sort of nods to the TV show. Arino uses his catchphrases every so often, and you actually, there's a list on the main menu of all the catchphrases you've unlocked, and there's a lot of little sort of in-jokes and jibes. If you've ever seen the TV show, there's lots of little nods to that, so there's plenty that you will enjoy if you've ever actually watched Game Sense CX or Retro Game Challenge. And all of these are, fairly straightforward, 1-button, 2-button affairs. I've got an attack over here. So that's that lantern, right? Which lets me see where that thing is. So, hooray! I wasn't paying attention to what the next thing was. Never mind. What the next achievement was, but we'll see as we go here. There's 3 chests here. Okay, how do I get in there? Oh, okay, so if I hold B, I'm in hide mode, which lets me see the chests and not get spotted by these enemies. But how do I have to? Oh, okay, I can just go through these walls. Alright, whatever. Um, Yay! I did it. So all of these are fairly simple games, but I mean the joy of the other two Game Center games as well was that they all could conceivably be be put out on an NES. These aren't hey bit art things that that relive the classics, sort of thing. It's not about that. It's legitimately this could have been on an NES, and and it's lots of nods to the classic games. It might be, oh, here's a game that's very much Solomon's Key. Here's a game that's very much Spelunker. Here's a game that's very much Lode Runner. The first game here is in Game Sense CX3 is kind of a hybrid of Lode Runner and Mario Brothers, and that's what the appeal is here. And I get it right. So oh dear. Just as I get it, I die. Just as I get it, I don't get it. So you want to go into hide mode to see which walls are legit and which ones will fade away. But if I use hide mode's tied to a bar, and now I'm in trouble. You can't see me. You can't see me. I'm screwed. Okay, right. I just need to go down here, right? But I'm gonna hide and hope that you can come after me. Alright. There you go. And a lot of these games are, I mean, the point is that in themselves they're quite fun. This is a really nice little Pac-Man game that I could, not Pac-Man, but it's sort of like haunted house-ish, Pac-Man variants, and it's fun, Each individual thing is fun, but I could see myself quite happily playing this on my iPhone or whatever as an entirely separate thing. But yeah, I've sort of died there, so perhaps I might find things a little bit too difficult. So let's sort of cut out here and let's see if I can find out more. Oh, it wasn't that scary, eh? All those scary big kids. And everybody's actually really nice. And yeah, so the more people you talk about, the more sort of little items you get, and the more little details. So now I've spoken to this guy, and his sort of taught me how to get particular items in the game, so that will help. So let's go over here, and on the bottom screen, just using the bottom screen here, underneath with my thumb, because it's easier than using the stylus. So yeah, boss floors, blah blah blah, a little bit. So yeah, you want to use the coins to get items and things. It's a little bit, everything's largely in kanji. So if your reading skills aren't that great, you might find it a little bit challenging linguistically, but not too bad. And I think that's, that's indicative. They could easily have made this kind of very, kid friendly in a way. Just the art style is very kid friendly. But at the same time, this is a game sort of for mature audiences, and I'm not talking about hey tits and blood and whatnot. I'm talking about mature audiences, as in people who were alive when this shit was coming out and have a nostalgia for it, and that's kind of awesome. So one thing. These guys will pop along, by the way, who are sort of chibi versions of guys actually from the TV show. There's a funny bit when you first die in the first game. there's always a phase in the TV show where Arino has been playing so long that he dies, and he just gets one of the producers to play up to the point where he died for him. And yeah, there's a little in-joke tied to that, where you see that that production guy try and get as far as he can. He ultimately dies, and it's like, oh, you've got to figure this stuff for yourself out. Figure this stuff out for yourself, which I think is yeah, it's pretty funny. It definitely helps if you've seen the TV show. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. You go around, you talk to more people about the game, and try and figure out a little bit more about it. And yeah, that I like that kind of thing of going of the sort of playground culture of finding out more about the game. I really hope, so far this hasn't happened, but I really hope that wow, cool, I got some croquette, some fried foods there, yummy. Yeah, I really hope that, and this hasn't happened so far, but that a lot of the kids you talk to are just straight up lying. You know, it's like, oh, there's this secret, you can be the boss if you tap this, this, and this, and this on the main screen. You know, I thought, you know, I would think that that would be an obvious thing to do, and then figure out which King 5 thing. King D3? Oh, no, I don't know about that. I wasn't really paying attention. Yeah, I do think that would be really cool if a lot of these kids you were talking to were just straight up lying about the game, because, you know, that would be what happened, you know, back in the day. So yeah, here's the map, and you know, there's 3 more little exclamation points will pop up to tell you when new stuff is happening. But let's quickly go back to my house here so you can see a couple of the other games. So when you pop back home, you can just sit about and you can try any of the games that you have in your collection. So yeah, I don't have the cartridge for the most recent game yet. I've got to keep on going and talking to as many people as I can to actually get a copy of the game. But I do have cartridges for these 2. Rumi the Witch is the first game you get, and I think it's the more fun of the first 2. It's kind of, yeah, as you can see, that's the idea. You've got to trap the people in the game. So it's yeah, it's sort of Lode Runner meets Mario Brothers. Get those, and then you clean up, and then you go, yay, and you go on to the next bit. And it gets progressively more difficult, and like a lot of these games in this area, it's all about inertia. Shit, wow, that's terrible effort. You know, it's all about managing your inertia and things like that. That gets fiercely difficult. So I'm going to cut out there, and then the other game that I've gotten so far is Wing Hero, and that's kind of a it's a shmup. It's a side-scrolling shmup, which is pretty fun. It's like was it Vanguard that let you that was side-scrolling, but the emphasis was on bombing as well. It kind of plays a lot like that. It's a little bit slow, and so it's a little bit irritating there. When you get hit, I'm too far from the mic here, but when you get hit, the twist here is that when you're going down, you can blow into the mic to give yourself a second chance. But yeah, the last achievement on this was pretty irritating, because it's a fixed scrolling thing, and it says you've got to bomb every target on each of the stages, and you can play it on easy, but you've got to get a perfect score and finish the game. So it's not easy. I mean, the game is not, Game Center CX3 as a whole is not easy, because it takes its inspiration from games that were very, very difficult, and that's kind of what the TV show is about. And that's what's a little bit irritating about the structure of it. It would be really cool if I could just sort of go, oh hey, I'm done with this, so, you know, I'm gonna quit out of here and just save my progress so far down there. So I'm gonna save and go back to the main menu. Um, yeah, I mean, it really would be good if there is a free mode, but that's just, if I hit free mode, that isn't just, hey, you can play anything you want. It's, I'm back in Oi's house and I can play all the cartridges that I found, and the rest of this is still locked off. You're forced into playing the story, which I think um, is kind of against the spirit a little bit of this kind of thing, and it's a little bit irritating. Um, but yeah, I mean, just still, I think the sort of obvious love for games of that era, it shines through, and that's pretty cool. There's multiplayer, not online, it's just local or download play only. And yeah, as I said, if you're a fan of the TV show, you have a list of all the little catchphrases that Arino says, and a little bit of background. Yeah, a little bit of background about each of these quotes. So yeah, Kacho on, coming up at all of these things that that he says a lot in the TV show. So if you're a fan of that, then there's that. Um, and there's also, yeah, I can go in and I can dig through the manuals for each of the games that I've unlocked so far. So yeah, it's a good fun game so far. It's got that Game Center CX spirit, which is awesome. Just like the structure isn't particularly great so far. We'll have more on Game Center CX Central Me on KojiPop.com in the very near future, including a full written review. So Chris Charlton for KojiPop.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.